When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
Why can't every day be like this? No simple road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
Yeah, man, I'm down here. I'm ready to go. You guys are like taking forever.
Oh, is that the way you saw this whole situation?
Totally.
We were like ready to record, and you're like, I wish I had a beverage.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
How about when people like don't get ready and you know there's something to do and you still just like
And you didn't
blow
do
it?
Yeah, that was me. I'll admit it. Hey, now, No Simple
Now
Road
you have a
family.
drink.
It's Aaron.
It's me. It's Mel.
And it's Apple.
And you're with us.
And Aaron got a beverage.
I
Don't
did.
worry.
I
If
did.
any
I
of you
got
are
a coffee.
concerned.
And he got one for me too.
Yeah, so now they don't have to be jealous when I sip on my tea.
See how thoughtful I am?
Mighty.
My tea.
You're here with us, everybody. Did you know that?
Aaron, do you think of the same thing I think of when you hear that word mighty?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mighty.
you are mighty.
You are
from,
holy.
From the worship days. This is the No Simple Road Weekly Rewind, everybody.
Just brush over that.
Welcome to it. Here it is.
Yes, I remember
this is
that.
it,
Hope you
everybody.
enjoy.
Come on, welcome.
It's
Woo!
actually brought to you by our friends over at Melt Mushroom Chocolates. Go to
Listen, y'all. Melt is dope.
Melt Mushrooms on Instagram. Throw them a follow. Let them know that you're from the No Simple Road family by shooting them a DM, and they will send you a menu.
And that menu will contain 3 different flavors of gummies, 10 different flavors of chocolate, and capsules. And if you want little baby minis, they've got those too.
I think they still have some tote bags left and other stuff, man.
And that new delicious creamy cinnamon horchata flavor.
Yeah,
of
they just did an
chocolate.
event in LA.
Which that
and
event, that looked so dope. Whoever they had do the wood carving and stuff
Right?
and everything for their signage and
It was
everything.
amazing.
It was like top notch
Legit.
looking.
So yeah, that's what we're dealing with over here at No Simple Road, everybody. You should go check them out. There's 4 grams of their sacred mushroom blend in every bar, and it's good food for your soul.
Yes, it is.
So take care of yourselves, man. Speaking of your soul,
yeah,
here we are.
it's my soul.
So yeah, we got a big week ahead, everyone.
Do we?
It's no kerfluffles here in the country going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like,
big week.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what this morning he said that
The
to me. This week's
country.
going to be crazy. I'm like, why? Mel's going out of town? Where are we talking?
It's so
He's
crazy
like-
when I
like
leave.
It is crazy when you
Tuesday.
leave.
Like,
I just want to say that I hope everybody stays calm and safe and happy, and just remember that there's only one race, the human race, and that we should start from a place of love and compassion and work out from there. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's a
be-
good thing to say.
It's going to be a good week.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a pretty amazing weekend too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, we actually did.
I have personally never done a breathwork ceremony before. I mean, I've done breathwork with Luke and stuff, and you and I have done breathwork in
Yes,
Kundalini,
we have.
but our buddy Joe came over and hosted a breathwork ceremony for us this weekend. And what do you think, Mel?
About the ceremony? Well, what is all this hand business?
He's doing the hand jive.
Do you want me to speed up and hurry talk about it?
No,
Like,
yeah, go for it.
Don't give me signals. I don't
Okay,
like it.
no mixed signals.
Sorry,
Got
guys.
it.
I'm just.
And what do you think?
All right. If you
Now
guys would have
Apple's doing
seen
it.
that, you would have hated it too. But anyway, I digress. It was an amazing event. I had my wonderful longtime friend from Las Vegas happened to be in town with her new boyfriend. And so they came to the event. A couple other people from work came, and it was a really beautiful, the whole thing, the way Joe set everything up in the living room. What did I think? I had a really relaxing time. I definitely did not get as deep as I have in the past meditations. I think that, I mentioned this after, when you breathe and you're breathing deep, breathing in and you're filling up your belly, you're filling up your chest, you're filling up your clavicle area. I felt like a spot where like tightness, like it was behind my right shoulder blade. And in the past, you can breathe through, pain, or you can breathe through these things, which I've learned to do. But for some reason, I couldn't get past that. And so I was kind of in pain, not pain like, ouch, I'm going to cry, but discomfort,
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't breathe in that. I mean, I tried to direct my energy and my breath there, but it just wouldn't abate. It wouldn't let me relax. So because of that, my mind was still here. It wasn't off, usually when you breathe and you focus, you can like go wherever you need.
Sail away.
Yeah, c'est la vie. But I couldn't, because I was like continuously trying to direct it there, and it just wouldn't. It's like scrubbing something that just wouldn't come out, like it just was, it didn't
stuck
work
at that point.
But like everything, I love the event. I really love that my friend's new boyfriend, he's never done anything like this in his life.
Yeah.
First of all,
he like walks into our house and right into that.
Well, he walked into our house. I come down with my big, knitted third eye hat. That's a huge third eye. And I'm like, hey, welcome. And meeting him for the first time. Super sweet guy. And he's like, I was showing him around the house, and he comes into our room and he like points at Ganesh and he's like, what is that? Like,
well, that's like one of three.
Yeah,
There's
we've
two
got
in our room and one in the living room.
Yeah, we've got a pretty big, Ganesh in our room and in the living room. So he asked, and I was like, told him that it was a deity that have helped our marriage, and we pay homage to it by putting him up. And he was like, that's so cool. Your house is very spiritual, And I was like, well, thank you. And like, for him not doing anything, no breath work, no nothing, he really got into it.
Joe said after everybody left, he was like, I think he got into like deeper into it than everybody else here.
He was like lit up. Like at the end, his smile, like, I mean, he was already very smiley and sweet, but like his eyes were clear. He just was upright. Like he just seemed.
Well, he wanted to know the first thing. He's like, when are we going to do this?
Well, yeah,
oh yeah.
when's the next
Do you have
one?
a YouTube channel? Which kudos to you, Joe.
Yeah,
But yeah, I love that everybody was able to get into it and like feel it. And it wasn't that I didn't. I just had a block. I had an issue.
Yeah.
So that's how I felt about it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But personally, I just had a little issue.
Oh,
Had a little tissue for my issue.
Darwin even
Dead tissue wasn't going to help it.
No, I needed like a fist in my back, or yeah, it just was. I don't even know what to say. It was because today doesn't feel as bad. I still feel it a little bit, but it was.
Do you think that that's like, somatic, like storing stuff?
Possibly, absolutely, it could be. Right shoulder blade, kind of like mid back. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I think that like the times that I've done breath work in the past, it was like one-on-one with somebody else, usually you and I, or me and Luke.
Yeah.
And there was never like a
Direction?
no. A ritual atmosphere to the whole thing. Like there was an altar. We were in a circle. It was guided, the breath, conscious connected breathing.
Yeah.
Joe is trained in a modality called breath wave. So, you know, doing this conscious connected breathing that, like, I don't know, for me, it started off feeling very mechanical. Like I was having to really concentrate on like where my breath was going, how much, you know, trying not to stop breathing between cycles. But once, maybe about, I don't know.
That's all normal
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
Yeah.
Maybe like 15 minutes in, 10 minutes in, I noticed the connection between all of it, and I could feel the wave of it going back and forth, like in and out. And, you know, your chest, your solar plexus, and your stomach rising and falling like a worm crawls.
Yeah.
Or a
Yeah.
wave. And once I got there, it was on. And then Joe, as the facilitator, came around and like gave you pointers, basically.
Yeah, like some adjustments.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that like my jaw was super tight.
Mine too.
And my throat was closed. And as soon as he gave me that direction, like, hey, relax your jaw and open up your throat, I was
Gone.
I was started like seeing like the DMT patterns,
Mm-hmm.
and hands were super numb and vibrating, and yeah, it was something else.
I will say, and I don't want to beat a dead horse by talking about this again, but it brought up every time I do any kind of yoga or Kundalini or any kind of breath work or yoga, it brings up my old Kundalini practice. And we've been watching this documentary
The Breath of Fire
called
documentary.
Breath of Fire about this woman named Guru Jagat, who was the owner / creator of Rama, which is an Rama Institute in Venice. And man, Kundalini really fucked me up. I think that I definitely have some stuff to work out, like physically. I think mentally I'm pretty fine about it. But physically, anytime I do things that are reminiscent of yoga, I have an aversion.
Well, that's a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes bubbling up.
Yeah.
that's mental.
It messes me up. It really does. And I noticed it yesterday because there was two things that happened. I was feeling those feelings, like my nose was like tingly and my fingers and everything. And it was reminiscent of when I would get really deep in my yoga practice, which that's the part that I loved, like being deep and like spaced out. But then because of that thing in my back, I wasn't that deep. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
So your thinking mind was still engaged.
Exactly. So I'm like thinking about all this Kundalini shit, and it just like, it's affecting me from doing that to the degree that I would like to.
I mean,
it like just plain and simple, not like, is it or not? Like it is.
Watching the documentary together, it's never been more evident to me of like the culty aspect, the cult aspect of Kundalini yoga. And like, you were not a casual member.
No, I wasn't.
You were like teacher trained. You did 28 days in Española, New Mexico. I had our Kundalini teacher come into our house and giving us private lessons. Like we weren't fringe people.
Yeah, we did I did white tantric yoga twice, and that's like 6 to 8 hours of straight up Kundalini
We've
yoga.
Talked about it on here before.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't want to beat a dead horse about it, but like
the point was, what I'm trying to say, after watching this documentary, like it only makes sense that you have an issue because you were taken in by a cult. Mm-hmm. Literally, like
I was indoctrinated.
That's called PTSD, babe.
Yeah, Yeah.
And what you said to me this morning in the kitchen, you were like, your spiritual skepticism is over the top.
It is.
That's mine.
Yeah.
That's my PTSD.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't believe anybody's shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Which doesn't serve. Well, mine. Yeah, it doesn't serve either one of us, but it's not so easy to just like, oh, okay, I'm stop. Like there was a meditation, the Trikupti meditation. I can't remember exactly. Like
blah blah blah.
Exactly. By this point, yes, but it was where you would stare at Yogi Bhajan.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. I wouldn't do it.
And it. Like sometimes when I fucking close my eyes, his stupid fucking face comes into my head,
You
and
should
like
just make it Jerry Garcia.
So it worked.
I'll make it
so
Jasper.
It worked what they did. Like,
Oh,
burn
no,
that
it
into
did.
your
It was exactly.
fucking mind.
It was
That's
totally
crazy.
programming, and I'm like. I'm strong. I can get over things, but this was like a lot of years of my life. I started doing yoga when I was pregnant with Simon. I didn't start Kundalini
Kundalini didn't happen.
But
for
I
a
started
while.
doing yoga with Simon, when I had Simon. So, I mean, it's 22 years I've been, in and out of yoga. And I used to really beat myself up for not doing it. Like, you should be doing yoga. But I wasn't willing to admit to myself that it affected me like that. And I don't know that I knew it yet. I think it was like, being here and not doing it and like wanting to for my body, but also not wanting to because of my head.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because yoga does fucking work. But Kundalini, especially after what I went through
As taught
and
by
seeing,
Yogi Bhajan.
reading that tell-all book, seeing this documentary, knowing the stuff that I saw behind the scenes while I was at yoga training, all of these things adds up to that PTSD that you're talking about. And so I'm like literally not utilizing something that's beneficial to me because I can't, because it's mentally messing me up.
Well, that was one of the really dope things about this particular breathwork session.
Yeah, I had nothing.
There was no attachment to any ism.
Well, but that's why I asked, because one of the things that he played, there was some talking in it, and it sounded like Yogi Bhajan. And
it was Ram Dass.
No, not that one.
Oh.
There was another one
before with the birds.
Yes.
And others. Yeah.
And it fucked me up. Like that messed me up. That's why I asked him who was it. And it, like, I'm not going to just bring that up in the circle. That's nobody's business. It doesn't matter. But I like, now I'm thinking, I thought about it today, like, cause when my coworker was like, how was your experience? And, that was a part of that spot in my back, and all of those thoughts.
It's resistance in that spot is that PTSD. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like you had several like built-in triggers.
Oh yeah,
from
absolutely,
all that stuff.
absolutely. And so think about this: getting in downward dog, like any position, is a muscle memory to that.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, then you need to start fucking doing Qigong or something else that's helpful to your body so that you're moving it and kind of like erasing it.
I could always picture, well, both of you, but really Mel, like out front doing Tai Chi.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Like the slow movements and stuff. And
Well, like when I did Qigong, it was like right before I moved out Vegas and came here, my friend Shellen and I went to Tucson for a 2 or 3 day seminar on Qigong, and it was so dope. It was amazing. I get into it, you get all excited, and then you like kind of goes by the wayside because when I came here, I didn't really have any way to utilize that. I mean, I know it's a self practice, but this was kind of more like spa oriented. So, but yeah, I'm realizing all of these things about myself in this age, and I could use the physical practice now more than ever. And it's a bigger version now than it has ever been.
It's fucked up to get the wool pulled over your eyes, especially when you're just trying to do something because you're
Positive.
positive for yourself.
Yeah.
And somebody fucking takes advantage of that. And that sucks, man.
That's what's scary with the whole self-help world out there.
Mhm. But I will. This is my caveat. I would still do another thing again. I not like
You're not going to give
See,
up.
that's where you and I differ.
I won't give up because and I'll say this. I did learn the most valuable thing that I learned in Kundalini was focus. Nobody can focus these days. Nobody can fucking, oh, you got my phone, then I'm walking out this, and then you look at
but at what cost?
Well, good thing I know how to compartmentalize shit. I can use focus on anything. It's not just when I'm sitting down. I'm able to use focus anytime. So like when I'm doing my treatments at work, I don't let my mind wander. I'm focused on my client. Or if we're doing this, I'm not like waiting for someone to call. I'm in here. I can like snap and focus. And that was a huge boon to me. You know, it was like a really great side, benefit. So there's a lot of things that I took, but I can't get rid of some other stuff. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like it's all
The
mixed.
bathroom is there.
It's all
The
mixed
entire
up.
bathroom. That was one of the reasons that I really liked this was because, like I said, there was no like ism attached to it. It was just us with our stuff on an altar.
Yeah, good intentions and
like
yeah.
it was, and we're breathing together. It's not. There's no like woo woo anything. It was just.
It wasn't called anything.
No,
it's a great size group.
What about you,
There's
Apple?
8 of us. It was cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you guys
No,
didn't even
so
invite
no.
anybody.
No.
I invited everybody. But what happened to you guys, dude?
I invited several people that didn't show up.
Just saying.
I'm not going to name names.
Don't name them.
You know who you are.
If you're listening to this, you know who you are.
No, I think I had quite the opposite of like Mel, because when it comes to this stuff, I'm a clean slate.
Which
I've
is
never done
amazing.
yoga or these classes. This is really, other than doing this stuff with Luke, learning how to do things on your own, like his teachings, and then like, you just do this, you can do it on your own. It was fun to be in a group. I liked the size of the group, even though some people didn't make it that were supposed to. It ended up being what it was supposed to be, and it fit perfect in the living room. And I'm always a little I wasn't skeptical because it was Joe, and I know it was just breathing and stuff. But going into it, when Joe got here, I'm like, dude, am I good to do this? Because I'm like getting over a sinus infection this week and stuff. And he's like, if anything, it's going to be beneficial. And most of it's going to be mouth breathing. So you don't need to worry about your sinuses. And it did end up helping because it helped me calm down and everything. But I found like the first half of it kind of reminded me, which is a weird comparison, but like doing DMT for the first time. You're like doing system checks and you're running through things and you're like in your head and not letting the body do its thing. Like the breathing, I was so concerned I wasn't going to do it right for a little bit. I'm almost counting like it was, belly, abdomen, into the heart and chest. And I kept on. It was hard at first to bring it all the way up in my like chest cavity and everything. And I was actually like almost like when you're learning to dance, like 1, 2, 3. In my head, I'm like doing it. And then I finally realized it's like, quit doing that. And then when I did it, like you said, I got that total.
You can feel the wave.
It was like a wave worm going through me and it became natural.
Well, you're doing it all the time. I mean, that's the thing with breathing. It's like, you know how to do it, man.
Yeah, you know how to do it.
And all that you're talking about is so normal. First of all, you're not used to it.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm doing.
Second of all, you just started. Like, how would you know how to fall right into it?
Stuff like that too. Like Joe, it's saying that this is one of those clubs. There's like no pressure here. There is a way to do it that I'm teaching you, but you're not going to fuck it up by missing a breath or closing your mouth to swallow or things like that.
You're kicked out of the circle.
Once I let that go, I totally got into it. And at first too, when Joe kept kind of reminding, like sometimes it helps to shake your hand. As he was saying the things, I was doing them because he was saying them. It was like, oh, okay, shake my hand. And then halfway through, it just took over. I was shaking and doing different things, and then I got like a kidney pain. where I was like, oh God, like it was like, I need to stand up. I can't do this. Like, this is hurting. And then I just somehow let it go, and the pain went away. And that's when the breathing took over. And then I felt my shoulder, because I have an issue with my rotator cuff on the right side, and it hurt. But then I was shaking it out, and kind of reminded me when you do the Reiki treatments, I felt it. I was shaking like negativity out of my fingertips. It was like leaving, and it alleviated. I started to work better. Yeah. Yes. You can't see it, but you can only mimicking what I was doing. Yeah. But I found it to be very beneficial. And I was almost bummed when it came to the end, because it took me half of the session to get into it.
Yeah.
So, but now I know. Now I've done it, and I know it'll be a lot easier doing it on my own, practicing, and then doing it in a group again. And that was really fun, doing it in a group setting.
Yeah. I dig the whole, like, this is going to sound funny, but anytime I've ever done it that before, you're like seated crisscross applesauce. Like, this is like fully comfy, laid down with a blanket,
pillow,
and a fucking pillow.
Your eyes closed, so you're not paying attention. That was part of my thing, like with the room full of people, crisscross. You're like watching everybody else.
Yeah,
you see everything else. This was like, we're in a room of everybody knew each other. It was very comfortable, really safe, and everything.
It was very cool. It felt like we were all cuddling. Do you know? You know what I mean? Like also, in the living room.
Also, guys, a shout out to Jag for joining us. We had not seen you in a long time, brother. When you came walking up the driveway, it was like, because I didn't know. Afterwards, we found out that Mel had seen you at the store and told you about it. It was really cool to have you as part of the group.
Totally,
and to have Darwin. We learned this time, me and Mel both say, it's like, next time Darwin needs to be out of the room. But he did really good with it.
I'll say on Jag's behalf, he's not here, Darwin helped him get deeper.
Me too.
So he's a pain in the butt in certain ways, but he did help bring the energy, because Darwin's a spirit dog.
So when we did the Wachuma ceremony here a couple of years ago, and when we did the Wachuma ceremony, it was 6.5, 7 hours in the basement without a break. And Darwin laid at my feet the entire session, except for when we were all laid out on the floor. He came and laid down with all of us.
So
and yesterday, he did the exact same thing. When it started, he came over and he sat by me and Apple. And about 2/3 of the way through, I felt his nose on my hand. And like, he put his head on my hand and started talking to me, like full on communication with the dog. And it was right when the playlist went into Ripple. And it was just for whatever reason, the Jerry's voice, the content of Ripple, and Darwin reading me the riot act, like, what are we doing, man? What's going on? Like, I got hysterical.
Yeah, you did.
And like, the kind of laughing where if you don't stop, it's going to take over and you're going to go for like a half, like when we've been at shows afterward and I get stuck laughing like that. And I was like fighting so hard. I'm like, you need to stop. And then it would like every 2 or 3 breath cycles, it would bubble back up.
It had to come out. Like, it had to come out.
Yeah.
It's like trying to stop yourself from crying.
Wasn't it Jag to say, he's like, I'm glad you started laughing because I really needed to laugh.
He was holding it in too.
If you would have kept on though, because then I was starting to giggle because I didn't know what you're giggling at, but it made me start giggling, and it would have gone around the circle. Yeah. We would all been laughing.
I would have been steel face.
Mel's focused.
No, dude, that's it.
Focus only like a laser.
Focus. That's right.
What's
fucking stare
funny?
At me.
What were you gonna say about Darwin?
During that time where we had that ceremony, we had a secondary one, and we tried to leave Darwin out of that ceremony.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't having it,
and he lost his ish. Like,
ever loving mind.
He was like he was the equivalent of screaming. It was barking, but it was like scream barking, like, hey, let me out. I want to be there, because it was outdoors and he could like see us doing stuff. And the second the facilitator was like, hey, it's okay, let him out, he came out and just laid like the Sphinx right in front of the whole circle. And so he doesn't want to be left out of it. It's like he knows something spiritual is happening and he's got to protect us. And that's what it feels like to
especially
me.
outdoors for him.
Oh,
the outdoors is his.
Like, what do you mean
outside,
you're leaving?
What do you mean you're outside with that? That belongs to me outside.
Yeah, no.
Let me out.
He's pretty incredible, but he's definitely a distraction for sure.
When he did really good. It just, and he didn't bother me. It just a few times brought me out of it.
Yeah, if you want to get deep in it, it's hard for him to be like breathing and walking around
and then I'd go to like stretch out and I poked him in the face. And then he like moved around, like he was in my space a couple times, but the only reaction he really had was when he did the one drum.
Yeah, he didn't,
because
like
he handled the like chime, the rain stick
that
thing.
Was freaking amazing.
He perked up and was looking, but it didn't agitate him. But when he did the drum, he stood up immediately.
He wasn't
and started to grumble a little, and Joe afterwards was like, "Yeah, I saw that."
He let me know exactly what he thought of the whole thing. Afterward, I was laying on a yoga mat, and then my sheepskin from Kundalini that I've had for years now. And Darwin came over and fucking sits down on the sheepskin. And I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And then he did the boot scoot on my sheepskin and gets up and left a skid mark on my sheepskin.
You know, Darwin is my baby, and I will never let him on my yoga mats and on any of my personal blankets. He knows it, and he'll always try, and you like let him, and I'm like, I'm not fucking letting that nasty little mother on my husband little thing. And he
I love him,
I love you, but not like that.
Fired me up. Joe looked and he goes, that's not peanut butter, that's doo-doo.
I didn't know it.
Later on, I see Aaron trimming.
That's what I was like, look, I didn't know till later either. After everybody gone to the bathroom and came back in and you started cleaning it, I was like, oh, that was ew.
Yeah, like, and you can't like throw.
Darwin doesn't like. We were talking about it. He just got up, looked at all three of us, walked across the room, turned his back, and laid down on his little bed.
You can't like take a sheepskin and throw it in the washing machine.
No,
you have to like. There's a process to cleaning that damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you like put baking soda on it and brush it, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So yeah, thanks Darwin for wiping your ass on my sheepskin. After a really great
I know my audience, man. I was providing comic relief.
It was really fucking funny.
We all laughed about it.
And I have to say that there was the playlist that Joe made was amazing. There was music throughout the whole thing, pretty loud, so that you're not hearing everybody inhaling and exhaling the whole time. But there was Ram Dass meditation at the end. I am loving awareness.
That was amazing.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was pretty legit. Just even his tone. The tone was everything for me, because he sounded like an old man. Like the voice sounded like an old voice, and somehow it just comforted me. I thought of your dad for a second, just that kind. I don't know. It was just the voice.
I don't know why it sounded like Leonard Nimoy to me, but it did. I was like, that's either Mr. Spock or Ram Dass. I'm not sure.
And then how every time he would say it, it changed how it sounded.
I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Like it can mean all kinds of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All depends on how you say it.
And I love how he said it. I'll show you what I did.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean?
Super easy, man. Just do this.
Yeah, a mantra. I just used a mantra. I'll tell you what I did. And then it's so suggestive, and it's like, yeah, take it or leave it. This is what I did.
Yeah, it's
don't
not
worry
like
about it.
For 32 minutes you hold your right hand over and stare at this picture of me.
You know, and look, for anybody out there that still practices Kundalini,
we love
it's
you.
fine. It's whatever. It just fucked me up. That's what I'll just keep my thing personal. It messed me up. I knew too much.
Well, I think it's okay in the world that we live in right now to say that something's fucked up when you find out something's fucked up.
Well, I am. I said my whole thing.
But you don't have to say. I don't think you got to.
Well, no. If they like it, that's cool. I'm not trying to be like take Kundalini down. It's taking itself down. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, I don't need to spearhead it. Like, if someone asks me, I'll be honest about it.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, with your experience.
yeah, I wouldn't
is
lie
what you
about
can
it.
Speak towards.
Even like I have so many books, and I got rid of some a while back because I hated looking at it, and then I just couldn't part with some of them because they were very personal to me. Like, it was like when I got rid of all my white clothes, that was really hard for me to do. It was like,
Yeah,
I seasoned these clothes. I like
like the clothes that you wore specifically for that.
because
it expands your aura by 3 feet.
there is something about like ritual, and you said that it wasn't ritual, but for me, Kundalini was very ritualistic. It was waking up at a certain time, dressing a certain way.
I didn't say that Kundalini wasn't ritual. I said the breathwork thing wasn't.
No, you were saying that when we've done breath work in the past, there wasn't a ritual around it. So that you said that. Okay. And so for me, it was. Every time I put on my white outfit and I went to another room and woke up early and it was very ritualistic for me. So I have that in my psyche. So to get rid of things, it like hurt. It hurts to like peel that away. Some
it's like
of
a
it
piece attached to you.
Yeah, it's like,
well, yeah, it was part of your growing up.
Yes,
literally,
it was definitely part of my growing up.
A big part of your
spiritual
late 20s to mid to late 30s.
Yeah, it was I was super involved, and I don't think it was a mistake. I'm still grateful for it. I really am. Even knowing what I know now, I'm still grateful that I did that. But it really did a number on me.
You knew this prior though, right?
Yeah, no,
like
I'm talking
before yesterday.
I think that yesterday
shined a light on it.
Definitely shined a light on it, and it made me realize why I'm not lazy because I'm not doing yoga. That was what I had, the line I had fed to myself.
Wow. Do you think that mindset is part of the programming that is connected to Kundalini? Like that Kundalini doing that, going through that, program that into you that you're lazy if you're not doing it?
No, that's a whole personal thing. That's my Melanisms. That's separate from Kundalini. I can't blame
a different cult.
No, I can't blame Kundalini for everything. I just couldn't understand why I can't practice yoga like I used to. Like, it really bothered me. Like, and I never talk about anybody. Like, I could talk about it to somebody like Sarah, my good friend that's kind of started with me, even though she still does Kundalini. But I could talk to her about all of this because she was almost involved just as much as I was. And she understands what, like, we went to our first class together.
I remember going to classes with you guys. Yeah.
So, and I could talk about it to, certain people, but like the whole thing about my mentality around it was kind of like hidden in plain sight. It was like, I wasn't doing it. I didn't realize why I wasn't doing it. I thought that it was just because like, oh, you don't want to, you're being lazy, or you don't want to spend time away from Aaron doing, an hour of yoga, or you have other things that you could be doing, like always kind of making an excuse of why. And I would do it. I still, you guys see me roll my mat out all the time.
Totally.
But it's like, not like getting into it. I'm like stretching after work.
You're stretching.
Yeah. I'm not doing a yoga session.
I love it when it's like stoner yoga.
Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Smoke a good strain that hits you right, and you're like, I just have to do yoga right
immediately.
now.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm figuring out how to deal with this, because it like you said, yesterday wasn't the first time I knew about it. I think yesterday was the first time I realized why I hadn't been doing yoga, and that's a big revelation to me. It's a big deal to me. I don't even like going to classes anymore. Well, I'll say COVID screwed up yoga classes for me, but aside from that, I do like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy that, but it's hurt.
Tainted.
Yeah, it tainted my enjoyment.
that's not the first cult that you and I belong to.
No, we're cult magnets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have.
And you know what? Say what you will. Like, we were talking last week, I think it was, about the O.T.O and Thelema and all that. Say what you will about like Crowley and Thelema and the O.T.O and all that stuff. I went as far as you can go in the O.T.O before you as far as you can go without being invited to go further. Right. And never had any problem. Like when I left. Nobody gave me any shit. They didn't come after me for money. They didn't try and blackmail me into anything.
Well, nobody did it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, cults do that. Like it.
Well, I guess we've never been that in too deep of a we're cult-ish, not
cult adjacent.
Yeah,
cultish.
I never
It seems to be like you guys get into something until you realize, like, oh, this is a cult.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Well,
yeah, full disclosure, I don't think the O.T.O is a cult. By the way, I think the O.T.O is a magical organization that.
This is what I think
does stuff.
We're spiritual people. I am very spiritual, and I like things that are like that. I like incense. I like stones. I like fucking sacred geometry. I like that stuff. So I'm already attracted to it. And I don't think all of those things in and of themselves is bad. I think what happens, people love power. They love power. And once
money.
Once they start getting money and power, they do some crazy ass shit. And people that are like me, that like that world or are attracted to it, those are the people that they hook. But it's not going to stop me from being spiritual or from seeking other stuff. It's because there is spirit out there and there's ways to connect. And in all of these things that I've done, being a heavy freaking evangelical Christian, freaking the O.T.O, Kundalini, I'm not gonna stop reaching and seeking. I'm just not. I don't care what happens.
I think where I ended up with it is that I don't need somebody else to tell me my spirituality or do that for me.
No.
I've been around the block. I'm old enough now. I could fucking piece it together on my own at this point.
Well, I think we mutually together have realized that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is a side note why I told Aaron this morning, I'm also in the wellness industry. The wellness industry can kind of sometimes be kooky, like new agey stuff. They've got these beds that vibrate, grounding mats, freaking this, that, and the other, this modality and this class. And
so many products.
Oh my gosh.
You were just talking about before
products
we were recording.
out the wazoo, and everyone's going to save your hair or save your freaking gut biome or whatever. And most of it's bullshit. And then a tiny percentage is not. And that's why I'm not going to stop seeking. That's my duty as a person that has other people that come to me for help. I'm not just going to sell them bullshit. I'm going to try stuff and then be like, that's bullshit. This isn't. And so
that's fair. I mean, that's your job.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sifting through these things, not on people's behalf. I'm genuinely interested, but because of my research, now I have these things that I know.
And the number one thing that we all know that every doctor will tell you or anything is it's got to start with diet and exercise. Two common things that this country really has a hard time.
And nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, it's like, well, how can I be beautiful and fit and young forever without doing
eat good, exercise, and get good sleep?
Yeah, I don't want to do the work. I want a pill. I want a cream.
Well, I think that it's really hard out there. We have a lot of I don't know what the word is, but we're all flawed in a lot of ways, and we're trying to help ourselves out. I think that we do earnestly seek things, and then sometimes we get the wool pulled over our eyes because we want to believe it.
And it hurts. That hurts.
It
man.
does suck. It's embarrassing in facts. You feel like a little bit of shame about it. you kind of feel guilty, like if you spent money or time seeking these things out. But I say fuck it to that. Like,
well, not really, because you still have PTSD.
well, I do, but like I said, I'm not going to let it stop. I could be like, that's it, no more, like, and be all straight edged, and I'm not doing that. Like, I still bought my red light therapy belt. I still am.
I can't wait to use that thing, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still going to do the things that I think are right, and if I get, I got had for $50 because I bought that stupid eye cream and it didn't work. Well, don't buy it again. Like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to let some screwed up people ruin my quest for learning.
Yeah, totally.
That's
for
true.
Self-improvement and self-care and everything. That'd be like going to the grocery store and getting something bunk one time. You're like, that's it, I'm done eating.
No groceries.
Never
That's it. Not going there
again.
Yeah, you can't let things, especially if it's like something that you love. I like being healthy. I love that. I love the wellness industry. I realized that when I worked doing EKGs. I realized that I loved talking to and being around patients, but I hated sick care. And so I went into the spa industry so I can still have patients and have well care. And I learned a lot of stuff that people would say was bullshit is not bullshit. Like Reiki. Everybody's like, yeah, right. Okay, come get a session then. And then tell me it's bullshit. So there's a lot, right?
I'll tell you what,
right?
If I hadn't have had Reiki from you, I would be the first one to be like, you're sending me magic wishes through the, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and just, do people believe that prayers help?
Totally.
Prayers freaking help.
They do.
So,
but I will say,
and they're invisible.
That Reiki stuff is no joke. And
no,
when Jen did Reiki on Darwin, distance Reiki from across the country,
I was going to say
it helped him.
Yeah, Simon jokes around with me all the time and is like, distance Reiki, mom. Yeah, right. But and
Simon's like, I'm going to start selling distance Reiki online to people.
I
think I've asked you, have you ever given him a Reiki treatment?
No.
I would love to see Simon get a Reiki treatment.
Yes, I would love it too. But Simon's specific, so it has to be the right time and the right everything.
Yeah, he's got to be receptive. You can't give Reiki to a brick wall.
No, but
it'd be like, you feel it?
I'll never stop. There's always going to be, you have to separate the wheat from the chaff. You have to separate the good from the negative, or the left from the right. You have to separate in order to find out what's true and what's not. And that's what I'm doing.
Then you have the facts of life.
There you go. Take the good, you take the bad.
You take them both.
And then you have
the facts of life.
Thank you.
I just had to complete the song.
I appreciate it, Apple. The spirit, I'm doing air quotes in my fingers, spiritual stuff that comes,
which we already are,
wrapped in like the goofy fucking packaging
with the high bun and
just
the fucking
all of the accoutrements and accessories and the jargon and lingo, and like that's like, for me, that's my trigger. That's like, I'm done. I checked out.
Cannabis.
That for me, shut the fuck up. For me is the big turn up, because all of these things are supposed to be self-help to help yourself to be better. And when you see those people, they turn into a completely different person than what they were.
Yes.
It's like, I want to improve myself, who I already am, who I've built over all this time. And I want to improve that.
That's great.
I don't want to all of a sudden turn into
you have to talk at a different octave, and you have to have mala beads, and you have to have a top bun, and it has, I
have to never do that. I do not like accessories. I don't wear any jewelry. All that stuff to me is it's.
And
first of all, it's capitalism. Like, let's just call it what it is. The quote unquote, air quote, spiritual, the spiritual industrial complex.
Yeah. Totally. It is, man.
It's about, look at this pashmina. Look at this $700 yoga mat. Look at this freaking feather from fucking Montana on the, like, it's all fucking capitalism.
painted with the
You
blood
don't
of a
need
unicorn on the
nothing.
full
I still
moon
do
and
want that
Pisces.
$600 cloak that was at work. In
Well,
Country
all
Fair.
that,
different.
it's dope.
That's true.
I'm not saying that none of this stuff is dope. I've got all my accoutrements. I can
too.
I can make a whole little freaking, store, a spiritual store in my house, but it's capitalism. Everything, even spirit, everything that you're going to deal with, this is our life right now.
And what I was in the midst of saying is all that stuff is a trigger for me. And the stuff now at this part of my life that tends to hit and stick is where the person that's talking about the thing is just a dude or a lady, just normal person. Like, I did this thing. It was really dope. You should try it. That kind of thing. There's no like frilly language. There's no like song and dance. You pay $5 extra. You're going to get the super deluxe, wacky, cool version that nobody else knows about. It was written down by a monk. And
Also,
shut the fuck up.
the older I get, I've done so many things that when I hear things, it's like, dude, Aaron and I could be doing this. Like,
we could have a cult.
Why am I here? Like, a while back I went to a medium. It was an event at a friend.
Oh,
yeah, it was like a medium event, and there was two mediums.
Channelers, right?
Yeah, they were channeling, people's relatives or whatever, and it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. They weren't like the worst they were doing was selling extended sessions the next day. There was no like, propaganda or anything like that. But I just left there like thinking that I was gonna like expecting to like have a I don't know what I expected, but like I was optimistic. I was optimistic. I'll say that. And then I left there, even though I had a good time. It was just like, I could have just had popcorn and felt the same way at home. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it was,
I do.
it was,
didn't leave with
it was
anything
just
like, whoa.
fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Cool.
And, I know that we have our own thing and we don't need anything else. But I still like to do stuff. So I'll still do stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta try
I'm
stuff.
still gonna
Yeah.
be doing
know
things.
what
Yeah.
works for you, and you can try stuff without all the pomp and circumstance too. Like,
I
that's
do,
one
and
thing.
I do.
No, not you. I'm just saying,
people,
like,
yeah, in
the
general.
royal you out there listening. Like, you don't have to wear the outfit. I mean, look, if you want to, and that helps you get into the headspace, and you dig it, and then do it. But don't let anybody should you.
Yeah, and don't let
into your spiritual practice, man. Like,
don't let anybody pressure you, because we've heard that. Joe had a couple stories, and I've heard that before too. That sometimes that's a bad thing when like a couple, like one of them wants to do the thing and the other one comes into it, kind of dragged into it under pressure.
uh-huh.
It's the same thing to me as like when people pressure you to do psychedelics or something. Like, you need to do, you shouldn't do things unless you feel it and are drawn.
Totally.
Especially spirituality stuff, drug stuff, things like that. You shouldn't do it because of what other people are doing and saying.
I
think
sometimes
that's a good rule for everything in life.
Yeah, but sometimes I think what happens is people are desperate, or they really
They're
are.
seeking.
They're earnest.
Yeah.
They really want some kind of change or an epiphany, and they think that getting those things will get them a little bit further, And so I understand why it just can, and in some ways it can lead to wonderful things.
Yeah,
and in
man,
other ways it can
think
lead.
if Ram Dass hadn't done what he did, he would have never.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
that's why I don't have a problem against the spiritual industrial complex. I have a problem with specific things that have negatively affected me, and that's it. So
That's fair.
yeah, I don't want, I hope this conversation helps you and doesn't deter you, but I hope that it also like puts your feathers up a little bit.
Man. Don't,
You know?
Yeah.
put your feathers up a little bit when
be like us.
Yeah, because don't be like us because the why I said this about Aaron, like we were talking about, it was about like skincare or something different. It has nothing to do with spirituality, but it was like kind of hokey. You know, take this tea or do this, tap your.
It was
which one?
You showed me. You showed me a massage on Instagram, and like the lady had gloves on and had her fucking fingers in like fish hooking.
It was actually a man. It wasn't a lady. A man was doing it. That guy the sculptural face.
It was fish hooking this other guy while he's rubbing by his sinuses. And Mel was like, "Would you like that?" And I was like, "Fuck no. I don't want anybody's weird fucking fingers in my mouth. Gloved or not.
Yeah.
Like, no fucking thank you." And I'll bet you, and I said,
you'd probably like it, Apple.
And I said,
you would.
I'll bet you that they say, oh, if you do this, like it's gonna take 10 years off your life. You'll shit better. You'll sleep better. You'll eat better. You'll live better. You'll
open your sinuses is what the way you're describing that.
It's it's a number of things. I had it done when I went to Summer Meltdown with Sarah. Mm-hmm. She specifically brought gloves, which is the grossest place to be doing anything like that. I don't recommend it.
Fucking festival.
But whatever. It's me and Sarah and
clean.
Crystal. It was fine. But it's for a lot of things. It's so relaxing. It's great for sinus issues. It's good for a lot of things. It's a thing a class that I want to go to.
So you showed it to me.
I showed it to him to incorporate it into what I do. Like that's not hokey pokey. That's just you don't like.
Oh fuck no.
Some people don't like. You don't like people touching your face at all.
Nope.
So it wouldn't be good for you.
Away from me, Apple.
I was going to try to touch his face.
But that's why I was like, babe, you can't be so cynical. There are things that work, even if they look weird AF. Some things do work.
I would think something like that too might be beneficial for people with like TMJ and stuff.
That's another one, Apple.
My stepmom has had TMJ for a long time, and she goes to a massage therapist that does like. I don't know if she's ever done the fish hook thing.
It's called a bucknel massage or
like
buckle.
All, the neck, the
Thank
jaw,
you. Thank you,
all
baby.
that, temples, like a whole face, neck, back, or the head, everything massage.
Some stranger fish hooking me.
I'll show it to you after this.
Well, imagine like if you had TMJ and it was like this can help it.
Dude, he was like
you'd let Mel do it if anybody.
Like it was so nice how he had this. I was like,
Mel's opening her
it's just,
with her mouth
and then
fingers.
like
it's gross to me to even do it myself, like jam my own fingers in my mouth.
You wouldn't do that. You can't. That's not helpful to yourself.
Man, let her do it, dude. Why are you being so? Come on, let us at it.
Okay,
dude.
if you guys haven't, realized by now, I'm into weird shit. A lot of it, and I like it, but I only share.
And when you run it by me, 9 times out of 10, I'll be like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm straight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want any."
But you're also my helpful guiding light, because you're like, that's bullshit, Mel, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I saw you doing that last week.
It's also interesting to hear these things. I enjoy it when like you're telling me about treatment stuff before we started recording, like hearing these different things. It's more knowledge.
Well, absolutely.
Like people are doing what?
Since I started working back with clients, you start to become part of their life. And they share things with you. And also you can see trends of like what people think or their buying, preferences and stuff. And a huge thing that I've noticed since I started working is ladies age 65 plus are getting lots and lots of treatments, facelifts, mini facelifts, fillers, and 8 times, and maybe even 8.7 times out of 10, they're unhappy with their results.
Wow.
And I'm doing my own case studies, and that's No, we're not going to get into that. But me and Apple were talking about that. But it's in a similar way. It's preying on expectations.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? These
doo-doo.
surgeons are like, oh yeah, your lips really do look uneven. Oh yeah.
And while
those-
we're at it,
Well,
we might as well do this
Yeah.
and this and this.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we could do a whole package.
Blepharoplasty.
Yeah, so just be careful out there. Be
Yeah.
diligent. You know, do as much. You can't even really say research because, like, especially like with skincare or spirituality, how do you know what to pick? You don't know what to pick.
No.
You know,
No.
like, what do you research? You don't know what to
Follow your
research.
gut. That's my.
You didn't even know about the
Sage
buccal
advice.
massage, right? You never even heard of it. So how would you know how to ask for it?
Or if you're lucky, I always admire those people, men and women, that just go with it, no matter what. I've heard people say it before. It's like, I earned these wrinkles.
I hear
Like,
that a lot too, and I
earned
love
Aging
it.
gracefully,
I
man.
love
That's
it.
what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, there's something too about looking. I mean, at 55, I look at older people, men and women sometimes, and admire that.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, they look wide. Like they've lived a life. You can see it.
There's a certain kind of person that can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
also another certain kind of person that can rock that.
Yeah.
Totes.
Do you know what I'm saying? So
All right. Well, sure. Here we are. We made it through, everybody. We're gonna
man.
do more of these breathwork ceremonies here. So stay tuned. You know, if you're here and you want to come,
yeah, if you're in Portland or if you're going to be visiting Portland,
Those that were going to come that didn't make
You
it,
should really try and make
you know
try
what
to
we
make
should
next
actually
time.
probably do is schedule them out and have a calendar
yeah, we'll talk about that off.
Okay.
The air. I had a whole
thing about it.
idea about it yesterday, and yeah.
Before we go, I was
Yes.
just going to shout out one thing for this week.
Can you just say it quietly?
that
Because
we're
I don't
going-
want to hear you shout.
So recently, we have an upcoming episode that you're going to be hearing in the next few weeks or so, where we had a very awesome guest come to the house, Max Ribner, and we are going. Well, Mel is going out of town
Yes.
this week. Mel is going to see Jasper, the baby.
Oh.
Well, he's like the little man of the world now. It's hard
He's
to call
not
him
a baby.
baby
No,
of the
he's
He
not.
would
world.
be pissed if he heard you say
Yeah.
Oh
baby.
yeah.
baby.
Oh yeah, I'd be on his shit list.
Yep.
But Thursday, November 7th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the historic Alberta House is Resilience for Appalachia. They say it right?
Appalachia.
Appalachia.
Mhm.
Me and Aaron are going to be going to check this
I'm
out.
glad you guys are going.
Max Ribner is going to be there, and this is really a thing like based around like community singing.
Yep.
And stuff. If you want to check it out, you can go. What am I on? This is events.human e-tix. I went to Max Ribner's website. You can push tickets, and then it takes you to this site, and it tells all about it. There's going to be a lot of other things going on. I would check it out. Me and Aaron are looking very forward to it. I just wanted to shout that out.
All right.
That's a great
Thanks,
shout out,
Apple.
Apple.
Everybody, we will be back on Friday with another episode of No Simple Road. What, Apple?
Also, want to for the end of the week. I think a lot of people know that Thursday and Friday, Spafford is going to be playing at the Get Down
Ooh.
with Yak Attack opening for them
Yak
both
Attack.
nights
Hometown
on
homies.
the 7th and the 8th.
If you live here and you haven't seen Spafford, you really need to go. I said this the last time we went and saw them. I can't believe that they're not filling arenas. Like they're amazing.
Jam.
Yeah. So that's my plug, and thank you, Apple, for reminding us.
And then we always love us some Yak Attack.
That's right. And like I said, we'll be back on Friday with another episode of NSR. And until then, take care of each other, smile at a stranger, safety third, hydrate, and you know what? Be like Mel. Don't be skeptical of everything like me. But
Yeah, be
watch your back.
No, be
open-minded,
like
but watch
yourself.
out.
Do half and half. Be skeptical and also try things.
And trust yourself. If
Yes.
you feel weird about something,
Tune
don't
in.
continue. If you
That's
feel super psyched about it, then lean into it. And
far out, man.
listen to yourself. Your head, your gut, your heart, all of it.
We love
it's
you
there
all.
to tell you shit.
See you next week. Peace.
Like twisting, turns and makes me turn and makes you journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hell means been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. dwellers of fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hi, this is Henry Kay, host of the #1 music history podcast, Rootsland. Come with me on a journey to Kingston, Jamaica, where we explore the world of reggae music and the untold stories of some of the genre's greatest legends. From the ghettos and tenement yards where the music was born, to the island's iconic recording studios. We are so excited to team up with Osiris Media, the leading storyteller in music, because as you'll hear, sometimes the story is the best song.